Hello, my name is Ben.
And my name is Josh.
Welcome back to FPL Graduates. We hope you're all doing well. It's the FPL Graduates Gameweek 20 preview, and we've got a big guest for you. You may have seen him on the channel before. It is Glen. Glen, how are you doing, mate?
I'm good. You have a very good build-up, and I agree with Harry in the chat. Best channel out there, I definitely agree. And you've gained 5 subscribers the last 5 minutes. When I grow up, I want to be like you people.
Hey, it's crazy. It's crazy what the FPL Graduates Army is like. We see you all on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. You guys are crazy over there. And we're going to preview Game Week 20. Now, it's going to be a big game week, isn't it, Josh? It's a couple of huge games in there.
It's going to be double decent, huge games, lots of good captaincy picks, differential picks. We'll be talking about it all here. But first of all, are we going to look into Glen's team from last week? So we've got to see if he's, if he can cut the mustard these days,
Yeah, Glen, we put you on the spot here. Do you have your team ready to share from last week?
Absolutely not. That caught me soft.
So, you know what? I'll work my team on first from last week, and I'll show you how I did whilst you're getting yours ready, Glen. So my team got 94 points this week. I mean, the fact that I didn't even use any chips at all, it's a pretty cracking game week, to be completely honest. McCarthy in goal. You know what? We weren't expecting him to get the most points, but it is what it is. He's a set and forget for a reason. He's going to get a 1 point every now and then. My defence. Oh, it's tasty. Cresswell 10 pointer, Target 18, Justin 14. Dallas let the side down by not getting more than 10 points this week, but we'll let him off, all right? We've already transferred him out. He's gone. You're not getting 10 points, you're gone in this defence. It's crazy. Midfield, Son got me assist. Not too bad. He bit of a lucky one. It was from a corner, I guess, but an assist and assist. Salah let me down again, big time. What are we going to do about that? I don't know. Mahrez, you're gone, lad. 1 point. What are you doing in my team? Fernandez, 8-pointer. He's Mr. Reliable. Every week he's getting it. And Antonio and Kane up front. I mean, it's a quality strike force, isn't it? It really is.
Yeah, it does look good. Your team's looking double decent, and you set up well compared to how it started at the start of the game week. I think you'll take where you are right now because you were going crazy when you're seeing those Man City assets getting.
I lost my head when Stone scored 2. My rank nearly.
I think I got a text saying you're so lucky.
Yeah, it was pretty salty. I'm not gonna lie. But it got better as the game went on because of the double digit hauls that I got. So you know what? It's a quick game week night in review from me because there are some big scores coming up, isn't there?
There is. So we'll move on to Glens. I'm having to share it, but it's all there. We're still there. So we move on. Glen, if you want to talk through your team.
Yeah, I also had Stones. Sorry again, Ben. Stones was also in my team. I brought him in this week. I still had Tierney miraculously because, again, I was supposed to take him out, but Newcastle at home, come on, you have to stick with him. Kufal, I've always wanted him in my team, probably because I think Cresswell is a bit more expensive than him, so I not really afforded him. For the 2 games, picked up a bonus point. Could have had more, but I was so happy with the assist. I was watching the game live, and when the ball was in the air, I was like, cross it, and it went in. I was so super happy. And Saka in the middle, getting a goal, absolutely amazing. Fernandez, this is how you guys have always felt owning Fernandez. Since Fernandez signed for United last year, January, I've never owned him on a full-time base. I've only had him twice on a free hit, but never on a full-time base, man. It feels nice, man. When people were complaining about the assist, I was just there like, no, it is an assist. It is an assist, definitely. De Bruyne, I think Josh was okay with the 16 points or the 8 points, but I think he could have had more. He should have had more against Crystal Palace and Villa at home. I'm expecting more than that. Son, assists against Sheffield, should have had a goal, to be fair. He should have had a goal. Kane should have had more than that. He missed a crucial chance, a very big chance at the end. Wilson, didn't expect much. He was just there because I could afford him, basically. So 4 points for him. And Lacazette, disappointing not to get a return against Newcastle. Also missed a big chance, and it was from a Saka cross, so it could have been big. I wanted to play my bench boost, but since I didn't have a playing goalkeeper, that's what I thought. I didn't play it, but all of a sudden I heard Johnston was injured and Barton would play. He got 2 points either way. So leaving a total of 16 points on my bench, kind of a downer. I could have played by bench boost, but I was told that you could get more points than that in a bench boost. So I guess I'm okay. Who expected Anguissa to get an assist against United? So 103 points, I'm okay with that, definitely.
Yeah, really, really good week from you. Obviously, no chips played as well, just like Ben. So double decent, only 2 blanks in the whole team. So you'll take that, I'd like to think. Moving on to me, I'll just wrap it up quickly. If you want to see a more in-depth review of our teams, head over to Glen's channel. We just did a live stream over there literally about half an hour ago. So my team's 115 points of the triple captainship played. The defense is the mainstay of the team, of where I've got a lot of my points recently. John Stones 27, Cresswell 10, Justin 14, huge points back there. Obviously KDB triple captain, not the best, not the worst. In a week where there wasn't really an outstanding captain pick that wasn't like an Antonio or a John Stones or someone outside the box, I think I'll take it. And I think compared to Ben's triple captain pick a year ago that we tweeted out, if you haven't seen that, you need to see it, where he got Mane a 3-pointer. I'll take it. Sorry, Ben.
Big points from big game players, you know what I mean? 3 points. I mean, you can't complain about that, can you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that's a good team. Josh, if you the De Bruyne triple captain, are you happy with it?
I think so. Like, obviously, it could have been way more if he stayed on the pitch like 2 extra minutes. He gets an extra like 6 points, so then that'll be a 30-pointer. So, but it's like here and there. I'm more gutted that he's just out for the upcoming game weeks, because he was just a certain pick for the next 3 weeks, and that's where my issue lands now going forward. Looking at game week 20, who am I going to bring in for KDB?
Yeah, so the plan is for this stream. I see a lot of comments, a lot of questions going in. The plan is to look into Game Week 20, go through the fixtures, the captains, the must-have assets, the differential picks. And then after we get through that, we're going to be answering a load of questions, all right? So make sure if you're getting some questions in, it'll be a bit later on when we'll answer them, all right? Be patient. We will get through the questions. Now, we need to have a look into Game Week 20. The fixtures are there down below. Now, Glen, there are a couple of really big games in there. Which ones are you kind of looking to as an FPL manager and taking a real interest in the sort of points that you could get out of these fixtures?
Oh, absolutely. United and Sheffield United. Now, as everyone knows, I'm an Arsenal fan, so I think I'm allowed not to like United, Josh. But Sheffield United at home, very good fixture. I saw Rashford going off with an injury the other day. If I was 100% he was going to be fit, I'd bring him in to be alongside Fernandes, because I remember away to Sheffield, you guys ran riot against them. I think 3 goals or something. Rashford had a very good game in that game. So United Sheffield is one of them. I can see a 3-0 there. So a clean sheet probably for the likes of Shaw. Shaw is playing really well nowadays, so could be a good thing to double up or triple up on them. The other one has to be West Brom and Manchester City. West Brom at home this season conceded 5 against Palace, a team that doesn't score a lot of goals. Conceded 4 against Arsenal, another team, unfortunately, that does not score a lot of goals. They conceded 5 to Leeds. They conceded even 3 to Chelsea. So they conceded a bunch of goals. I think it's like 7 games and almost like 30 goals conceded at home, something crazy like that. So that's the other one. And maybe Newcastle and Leeds. Newcastle, not on the best of form, so Leeds could be a chance again to run right against them. I think at Leeds' place, they won 5-2. I can see something similar. So those 3 fixtures for sure.
Yeah, really, really good thoughts going into that. Ben, for you, obviously you've made a few switches already. I'm yet to make my transfers. Obviously, which games did you look to target with your transfers this week?
With my transfers this week, I didn't look to target a specific team. I looked to target the players that are in form and the players that are looking quite good at the moment. I mean, I'll probably show you guys my team in a minute when we go on to captaincy options and captaincy picks. But you got to look to target that Newcastle team at the moment. They're not looking too great at all. So getting an attacker against them in the next few weeks is going to be something good. Got to look to Man City for your source of attacking points, really, with the 3 fixtures they got coming up. There's a couple of crackers in there. Man United, obviously, looking bang in form too at the moment. Josh, what are you looking at in terms of the fixtures?
So I'm going to leave aside West Brom, Man City, and Man United, Sheffield United, because it's blatantly obvious that they're the best ones to go for in terms of the attackers of the better sides. For me, I'm going to be really interested in the Chelsea Wolves game. Obviously, whether or not Willian Jose will play is a big question, because obviously he's the new striker coming in from Real Sociedad, scored over 60 goals in the last 3 seasons in La Liga. So he's proven quality, and I think he's exactly what Wolves need, a very similar type to Raul Jimenez. So hopefully, fingers crossed. I'm unsure if he will start or not, but I think he's going to be a good FPL asset going forward. And I can see him picking up a few goals for Wolves. So I look to that. And also on the flip turn, Chelsea lost Frank Lampard now. He's been sacked. Obviously, they won't get a new manager in. It'll be interesting to see if the team totally changes. Obviously, a lot of people have like Ben Chilwell and a few defensive assets still. So very interesting there. And obviously the big guns, Liverpool, Spurs. I could see Spurs running away with that game, to be honest. I think defensively Spurs are a little bit better than United, especially with Mourinho the way he sets them up, and Kane and Son going forward is just elite. We've seen it most of this season. Although I don't think Liverpool won't score. I can see Mo Salah, maybe even Mane scoring. I think there's going to be a few goals in this game compared to some of the top 6 games that we've seen so far this season.
It's interesting what you say about Tottenham, because breaking news just in. Tottenham are losing to Wickham.
Things you love to see. Things you love to see.
On your Dinma for Wickham. Brilliant. Up the championship. Big up. So we'll move it into the must-have assets. Glen, if you've got to pick someone to bring in as a must-have for this week, who is that player?
Wow, for this week again, Josh, I'm sorry I have to be boring again. I know you don't want me to pick these obvious games, but I think I'll have to go with okay, I won't go with Fernandes. Everyone will say Fernandes, so I'll go for West Brom and Manchester City. Also, kind of applies as a differential. I'm gonna go for Sterling. He didn't start in the FA Cup game against Cheltenham. He didn't even come on, so I think he's a definite start, especially De Bruyne out and such kind of players. Now he becomes one of the most important players in their team. So as I said, West Brom conceding goal after goal after goal at home. Sterling on free kicks these days seems like it. Probably not on penalties. If he's given another chance on a penalty, I'll be really surprised. But I'm gonna go with Sterling for this week against West Brom. I can see him getting at least 10 points, the least he can get in that game.
Yeah, Josh, must-have assets for this week.
Yeah, I was going to talk about what Glenn said. It's interesting that you're so Man City mad about the West Brom game, because when in the previous fixture this season, they did only win 1-0. A lot of people played their triple captain that week because West Brom.
They did have a different manager, though.
You know, Sam Allardyce loves setting up against the big teams.
Yeah.
So I
think they'll lose, though.
I do agree with you, though. I do see Sterling potentially returning in that game. He's one of my KDB replacement options. Whether I pick him or not, I'll have to let everyone know on the Instagram and Twitter over the coming 24 hours. My must-have asset this week is going to be slightly different. Luke Shaw of Man United. The guy is playing the best football of his career since he broke his leg, in my opinion. He's on set pieces like corners, sometimes free kicks as well. And defensively, United look pretty solid. I know they just conceded 2 to Liverpool, but Liverpool are still a fantastic side going forward. And I think he's quite cheap as well. I think he's around 5 million. So you could easily squeeze him in as one of those budget options. So yeah, go pick up Mr. Luke Shaw.
Yeah, I mean, surely he's got to be starting for England at this point in the next international break. He is in cracking form. I mean, I've not seen a left back from England have like this much impact on games for a big team in ages. So we'll move on to the captain pick. From this, we can show our teams that we've got. I mean, me and Josh definitely can show our teams. I don't know if Glenn you can as well, but I'll show what I've got first for this week. I've got McCarthy in goal, set and forget as per usual. I've got Forster on my bench. A back 4 of Cancelo, who I brought in this week. Justin, Target, and Cresswell, all great options, although they are all playing away from home. So that's the risk I'm taking there. Salah, I've kept in. I think he played well against United. He got forward. He looked dangerous. He scored a couple of goals as well. I've got Son as my vice against Liverpool. Counter-attacking Sonny masterclass potentially. Maddison I've also brought in. So I brought in Cancelo and Maddison for a -4. Mahrez and Dallas are the ones to make way. Fernandes is my captain this week. Standout captain choice, I think. I think it's going to be the most popular one. It's the best player in the Premier League right now against the potentially one of the worst teams in the league right now. Antonio and Kane up front, as per usual. Kyle Walker-Peters, bit annoying that he's got a quad strain right now. It rules him out of this week's fixture, but for game week 21, I think he'll be back and I think he'll be ready to go. I don't think it's anything too serious. So if you've got Walker-Peters, try not to worry about it too much. Glenn, what do you make of my team for this week? Can you see any sort of weakness?
Not at all. I really love that Antonio pick. Is one player I would really love to own, but I'm kind of out of substitutions. That keeper, I had him before his illness, and I've struggled to get him back. I really want him because Southampton, even if they don't keep a clean sheet against Arsenal, I think he'll have like save points and stuff. So I don't see any weakness there, but that's what we always say about FPL. I'm loving that Fernandes and Son, those Fernandes and Son picks. I think all of them will return. So probably no weakness at all there.
Yeah, Josh, what do you make of that? I'm sure you've got something cheeky to say to me about my team.
Nah, I have to agree with Glenn. It is a really solid team. I'm loving pretty much every player you got in there. No real harms about it. Obviously, Cancelo is someone who's probably been underperforming quite a lot recently. He should be getting so many more attacking returns. He almost plays in midfield for City when they have the ball, which is crazy. So yeah, so looking good. Glenn, who are you going to be captaining this week? Obviously, we can't show your team, but if you just want to discuss who you have and who you brought in and stuff.
Okay, so I remember when you did the show last time out before game week 19, and I asked about Areola. And Ben was like, you want to bring on Areola? No. But I brought him in anyway. He got me some decent points, and I still have him as the keeper. So against Brighton, he could have a clean sheet. So he is my keeper. And then at the back, I have Kufal against Crystal Palace, Stones against West Brom. Another 2 goals would be magnificent. Tierney is still there. I think everything goes through him. If you don't have him in the team, you always struggle. Saka will definitely be back for us too. So he's also in the middle. Fernandes is there and Sterling probably will pick between the two of them for captaincy, leaning towards Sterling for now. I know what I've understood what Josh has said, but yeah, both of them I feel will score in this game week, but Sheffield doesn't really concede that many goals. Son at home to Liverpool. Liverpool play such a high line every time. So if Son gets in behind like he did against Southampton earlier on in the season, he could get a couple of goals here. Wilson up front for me. I have Kane and I have Lacazette. Not really the best of teams. I would wish to have a couple of other players there, like Maddison, for example, but I can't afford them as of now. And then on the bench, Webster against Fulham. I'm really thinking about playing him because against Fulham, he could get a clean sheet there too. So Anguissa is also on the bench. So a lot of Brighton Fulham players here, surprisingly, I don't know why, but yeah, most of them will be on the bench. So I think here I'm going to captain Sterling for sure, Josh.
Yeah, that's interesting. I like the captaincy pick because I do agree with you. I think Sterling is one that maybe can get a decent return and almost fill the boots of KDB. If we move on to my team, I'm on the points in a minute. Let me go to pick team. I've yet to make my transfers yet. It does look a bit ropey right now. Don't get me wrong, but you know, with time, it will look a bit better. So KDB. Big issue with him being out. It's so annoying because I had my dream midfield of Salah, Son, Fernandes, and KDB. It was set. Don't need to change it, but KDB's out, so I've got to think of something to do. It's either going to be Harry Kane in with Keenan Davis on the bench here, leaving, as well as KDB, sorry, and they'll bring in Gundogan and Kane. Or I could maybe change a defensive option. So obviously I have Southampton and Arsenal assets. I'm not really keen on Bednarek and Holding at the minute, especially with Southampton not having their first choice right back and left back currently. And I already have McCarthy in goal. So I might look at getting maybe another City defender in. I'm not too sure yet. Or I could just go Sterling like Glens obviously said. So it's all up in the air. I'm going to see who Spurs play tonight. I haven't really checked their team at the minute. But yeah, we'll wait and see what happens there. for next week. But looking forward, we're going to talk about double game week 26. It's basically near on confirmed. Ben Crellin is almost confirmed. He should have a verified tick on Twitter. Here is his tweet. So he said he's very reliable for all this sort of information. He said these are the teams who I think most likely will get a double game week in game week 26. So I'm just going to read out the teams who will have it. Man City, Spurs, Liverpool, Chelsea, United, Leicester, Palace, and Burnley. And then there's obviously some more, as he mentions down here, that could have one but might not. It's all to do with the FA Cup and if teams win or lose and stuff like that. So boys, I'm going to put it to the floor. What assets are you looking at targeting, or do you think would be best seeing these fixtures on screen at the minute?
Oh, I mean, where do I even start? There are some crackers here. I mean, it's potential for me to hit a wild card the week before and triple captain it. Like that could potentially give out some huge points for me. I mean, City you got to look at, Liverpool you got to look at. I mean, who don't you look at out of those teams? You know what I mean? There's some really good fixtures in there. Glenn, what do you make
Burnley? Yeah, you don't look at Burnley. Burnley against Tottenham and Leicester. I'm not interested in that. Also, Chelsea against United and Liverpool, unless they improve massively under their new coach. I can see a Chelsea fan in the chat as always, and I don't think they'll do that well in years of now. But a team I'd definitely consider two teams, Liverpool against Sheffield and Chelsea. Now, I don't expect Liverpool to be as they are, bad as they are right now in the next 6-7 weeks. I expect them to improve. So if they'll be going for the title, trying to get back to the title race, I'm expecting them to go big against Sheffield and Chelsea. And also Spurs against Burnley, and then Southampton, Aston Villa, or Fulham. Any of those teams, I can see them scoring a bunch of goals. I mean, they got 5 against Southampton early on in the season. Villa, Fulham, they haven't played Villa yet. Fulham, again, they scored, I think, twice against them. It could be more than that next time. Burnley at home, very good fixtures. So Spurs and Liverpool there. Unfortunately, I don't have a wild card like you, Ben. So I don't know how I'm going to maneuver through there. But yeah, it's good to start planning very early if that's the case.
Yeah, it's interesting that, because going into this double game week, I think you can go in it with a lot of different tactics. Like for me, myself, I'm probably not going to use a wild card. I don't have the triple captainship. I only have the bench boost left. And there's a lot more teams playing in this double game week than we've seen in like the one just gone. There could be literally there is actually a chance that every single team plays twice in this game week if fixtures go the right way. So it's going to be very interesting. For me, I'm going to look at probably just doing it with free transfers and then maybe hitting a bench boost. I think that's probably the most likely way I'm going to go about it, and maybe use my chips quite early other than my wild card, and use my wild card later on in the season. So very interested. A good little heads up for game week 26. We'll obviously bring more info and etc. and tips the closer we get to it, because obviously it is 6 game weeks away.
Yeah. So we'll move on.
Sorry. Josh had asked for the Tottenham squad. So Hart is in goal. Tanganga is at the back with Sanchez, Alderweireld, and Davies. So that means rest for the likes of Dyer. In the middle, they have wings, Sissoko, Lamela, and then Bale, Lucas, Vinicius. So Kane has a rest. Son has a rest.
That's good.
I don't know where Lo Celso went. Dombele is having a rest. He could be a differential, but I'm sure Ben will come to that topic. So that's their lineup.
Yeah, so we'll move on, and if you've got any questions, now is the time to ask them. We'll go through all your questions that you've got, get them coming in, and we'll start going through some of your comments and answering any questions that you have based on FPL and that sort of thing. I mean, the double game week 26 could be one that's really tasty. I know Jonathan in the chat has said it's going to be affected by the FA Cup quarterfinals. So whatever team's playing in there, you could potentially see double game week fixtures. The SNS Football Podcast, where is he? There he is. Thoughts of the grads. Thoughts on Odegaard, especially from Glen. So Glen, Odegaard, what sort of price could you see him being at, and would he be a good asset to own in FPL?
Maybe between 6 million and 6.5, somewhere there. As a fan, I'm really excited, but FPL manager, not really. It's too early. I'm not sure if he's going to play. we already have Smith Rowe in that position. I would play both of them either side of Partey, but I don't think we'll go for that. That is too open, especially for the fixtures we have coming up against the likes of United and Leicester. Not looking forward to those fixtures. So I don't think he'll be thrown straight in against like a United, for example. So as of now, no, you have to wait and see. So good signing as a fan, but FPL-wise, not yet.
Do you think, obviously, Odegaard played out wide a bit for Real Sociedad last season. Do you think this could maybe see Aubameyang move up front and have a Saka, Smith Rowe, Odegaard, and Aubameyang? Would you think that could be an option?
No, Lacazette has to be in the team. The games we've not had Lacazette, we've really kind of struggled. So, and Aubameyang kind of has personal problems right now. I don't know how soon he's going to be back. So, I don't think he'll fit in any wings because we already have Saka on the right and then you already have Aubameyang on the left. So, it has to be somewhere in the number 10 position. Unfortunately, it could be true he leaves Smith Rowe. So, I'm not sure he's going to play every single 90 minutes. I'm not 100% sure if he's played any Champions League football this season, but if he's eligible to play in the Europa League, then that's why we actually use him a lot.
Right. This one's for you, Josh. Players for Game Week 26. We saw you brought up the tweet about the teams potentially could have a double game week. Any stand-up players from there?
Obvious ones have got to be Man City when they have fixtures of West Ham and also maybe Wolves, Everton, Southampton. That's very good. Spurs assets with Burnley, Southampton, Aston Villa or Fulham. And Liverpool face Sheffield United in that game week. United are facing Palace. So there's like literally all the big teams have some very, very tasty fixtures. And also in 6 weeks' time, there's chances that you have your De Bruyne's back. There's also chances of injuries happening in that time as well. Obviously, the heavy fixture schedule. So it's hard to say at the minute because obviously I would like to see all how everyone's doing going into it. But we will let you know. Don't you worry, Ollie.
Right, Matthew. I don't know whether you're being funny or not, but are any of you still in the cup? Interesting question, that.
Good question. Best question of the day so far.
I went out in the first round of the cup. Arsenal went out in the last round of the cup, and Josh is still in the FPL Cup. So
yeah,
moving on.
I still am, by the way.
I'll put this one to Josh. Thoughts on Cavani?
Yeah, it was my differential of the week on Glen's live stream. I think, especially against Sheffield United, he's a great option to have if you can fit him in. He won't. I don't think he'll be scoring you 20 points a week or anything stupid like that. He'll be one of those that ticks over. So yeah, he's probably an 8 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, Glen, who should I bench this week out of Dallas, Kufal, or Robertson? Some interesting choices there.
I know it's very hard to say, but I'd bench Robertson. I think Kufal on a couple of set pieces against Crystal Palace, he could do well. Dallas against Newcastle now. He could easily keep a clean sheet. He could easily get 2 goals there because Newcastle are terrible. And I think Robertson, they'll consider a couple of goals. They're not looking good right now. I don't think they'll win. I hate to say it, but I think Tottenham will win that game. So Robertson, I'd actually bench Robertson.
Wow, I would have said Dallas personally, because that's the one I've transferred out this week. But of course, Newcastle was a very nice fixture. I thought if he gets some points this week, I'll just take that L and move on because I don't see him getting too many more points in the future. I know I've been lucky with owning him and he's been returning a lot for me. Footy Edit says, is Aubameyang one to watch now? I'll put this one to Glen as well. It's another Arsenal-themed question.
Not as of now. As you guys know, I had him for like 10 weeks, surprisingly, when he wasn't scoring. But right now, he has personal problems. I don't know if his head is in the game right now. I don't think he'll play against Southampton. And then after that, tough fixture against United. So maybe not now, maybe in the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks, when at least he has scored a couple of goals recently. So he's back on form. So not now, but another one to look at in the next 2 weeks. Yeah, definitely watch.
Some cracking questions coming in right now. Charlie is asking, should he triple up on the City defence for the next 3 weeks? That is a huge call, isn't it? Is that the way to go? Personally, I don't see the reasoning behind tripling up, especially with Pep Roulette. I'm sure you'd agree with that, Josh.
yes and no. Tripling up is a huge risk because obviously they concede a goal and you've lost serious amounts of points. Obviously, if you have different defenders from different teams, you have a higher chance of keeping a clean sheet. But their fixtures are really good. You could argue they're three of the best defensive fixtures you could probably cherry pick. And you say Pep Roulette, he's picked Stones, Diaz, and Cancelo consistently for the last nine games. I think Cancelo's only not been picked twice in those 9 games. So I could understand why you do it. It's a huge risk if you do. But right now, going forward, I think there's not many great City options. I don't think they'll score more than the defenders. So I can understand why you do it. Yeah.
Jackson says Antonio or Watkins. I'm going to go straight out there and say Antonio is the guy to go for. I think, Josh, you're nodding in agreement.
Yeah.
He's the guy, isn't he?
Yeah, Watkins too inconsistent for me. The only reason Antonio hasn't been in the team before now is because he's injured and there's no other striker for West Ham. So he's without a doubt, he just loves to tap in and I'm all for it.
Next question. We'll put this one to Glen. As in his YouTube video live stream, we focused on Leicester this week. And Ali says, is Tielemans a good option or is Maddison better? You got to consider that penalties are also with Tielemans.
Wow, that's such a hard question because Maddison is on corners and free kicks. And I don't know if Soyuncu will be brought back into the team anytime soon. But anyway, Evans in attacking those corners, very, very good. And Tielemans getting himself into the right positions every single time. That final pass always comes from him, whether it's for Barnes, whether it's for Justin on the right side, those chances that Justin always misses every single game week. It always comes from Tielemans, man. That's such a hard question. But considering the price, I think Tielemans is 6.4. I'd probably go for Tielemans 6.4 for me. I think is a better option because of those penalties. Leicester, I think, have the most penalties this season. So I'd go for Tielemans. And he always plays 90 minutes, it looks to me like that.
Yeah, so Mateta has just come into the Premier League at £6 million on FPL. He has 10 goals this season for Mainz. Is he a good option to go for, Josh, or is he one you've got to keep an eye on first?
Yeah, obviously wait and see. First of all, he needs to be getting the minutes first of all, but he does look quite exciting, especially for Palace. Obviously, they ain't really got too many great striking options. So if he can be a mainstay in that Palace team, I can see him being a shoe-in if he starts getting the likes of 10 goals already for Mainz this season. And Mainz not a very good side. They were struggling a lot. I know they just beat RB Leipzig at the weekend. But yeah, he's an interesting pick. I wouldn't get him in right now, though. There's Antonio, there's Watkins, there's Bamford. I'd wait and see for his how he does, really.
Yeah, hard to disagree with that. Tottenham have just equalised. Gareth Bale has just scored, by the way. Footy Edit says, could Bamford be a cheeky captain pick? Glen, is he a cheeky captain pick?
Again, definitely. Newcastle fans are crying. Steve Bruce is still there. They're probably, I had them showing their frustrations after his press conference yesterday, I think, or today or something like that. Very, very good option. Again, he does miss a lot of chances, though. Sometimes he's given the penalties, sometimes he's not, sometimes glitches on it. So I don't know who really takes their penalties. So against Newcastle, anytime, man, I think he's a good differential captain if you want to try something different.
Yeah. We'll move on to Lewis's questions. We'll take a couple more and then we'll wrap this live stream up. Lewis says, is Sterling a good captain pick? Now, this is one we talked about on Glen's channel again. Sterling captain. There's a lot of the similar questions being asked here and there. So make sure, if you haven't already, go and check out Glen's channel. A lot of really good FPL videos and Arsenal videos. Now, would Sterling be a good captain pick, Glen?
Yes, as I said, West Brom, I think 7-8 games at home this season conceded more than 30 goals against some terrible teams. Crystal Palace doesn't really score that many goals. Leeds, obviously, they do score a lot of goals. They've conceded to Arsenal, to Chelsea, so many goals. Even if West Brom win the game, they win it 4-3 or something. So definitely a chance for Sterling to get some returns. And he'll definitely start. Didn't start in the FA Cup against Cheltenham. So even if you're afraid of the Pep rotation, I think he'll definitely start this one for sure.
Now, this is the big question. It's been going on all season, hasn't it, really? Kane or Son? I personally would say Kane over the long term. But is there any reason you could disagree with that, Josh?
Yeah, well, you've obviously had both pretty much all season. I've had Son pretty much all season. The main reason I picked Son in the first place was price. You can save quite a bit of money, and they pretty much get similar points. Well, Son obviously gets more points for the goals, which sort of sees it even out a little bit between them, because obviously Kane gets so many goals and assists for Spurs. For me, I think looking forward, you should really have both now. Now KDB is out injured. I don't see a reason not to have both. You only really need Bruno and the Spurs boys currently. Maybe you could argue Mo Salah as well. But yeah, I think having both is definite. For me, though, I'll always choose Son over Kane just because of the price.
I'll tell you why you choose Son. I've seen Liverpool playing so many times this season against Arsenal, like 3 times or something, against Spurs in the first game, and the way Tottenham play. Liverpool play such a high line, and if Reece Williams starts in that position, and the way Son gets so many chances, I think against United when they beat you guys at Old Trafford, I think he went through 1-on-1 2 or 3 times. Against Southampton when they beat them 5-2, I think he went through 1-on-1 like 6-7 times. And if Liverpool play a high line here, yes, you expect Kane to have the assists, but I can see him getting a couple of 1-on-1 chances against Alisson. So I'm even considering captaining him, but I'm not that brave yet.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. I think especially if Henderson doesn't play, I think that's crucial. If Henderson still isn't fit, and they play how they played against United, we saw Rashford take advantage of Trent's positioning, got the assist to Greenwood's goal, scored himself as well. And like you said, if they do play Reece Williams, quite inexperienced, we saw him struggle against Rashford. I think the same would happen with Son. Son's obviously a fantastic player, probably even more lethal in front of goal than Rashford as well. So I've also considered captain in Son, but I just can't look past that Bruno pick for me.
Yeah, thank you for all your questions. We'll move on now to the final segment, which is the differential pick of the week. Now, there's a few good options to go for. Glen, do you have a standout sort of differential pick that you're looking to go for?
Yep. Crystal Palace, I know it's for this week, but Crystal Palace fixtures that are coming up. They have West Ham this week at home. They have Wolves at home, another team that is not doing well. Newcastle, Leeds, Burnley, Brighton, Fulham. Literally, the next 10 fixtures, 9 of them are really good. Not saying Crystal Palace are a top team that will win all of those games, but against West Ham also have a good defense. I do know that with the likes of Obona. But this week, a differential pick is going to be Eze. I'm really surprised that he's owned by less than 1%. Less than 1%. He's on free kicks. Sometimes he's on corners. Zaha is kind of a doubt for this week. So if Zaha misses out, everything will go through Eze, literally. I don't know about their new striker, the one you've been talking about. I don't know much about him yet. But Eze, free kicks 5.8, corners, really, really good football player, the way he glides through that midfield and has shots and assists. So 0.8% against West Ham at home. I think he'll be like a 2-2 draw. I'm going to go for Eze.
Josh, who's your differential this week?
Yeah, I like that pick from Glen. Really interesting. And he's a good player to watch as he just glides past players. For me, I'm going to pick Luke Shaw this week. Around 5 million on set pieces. I spoke about him on Glen's live stream. He's just he's in the form of his career since he broke his leg. He's keeping Telles out of the team, which is quite surprising. But he has to be because he's playing unreal. He looks like probably our best defender right now. And the fact that he takes the set pieces is just an added bonus. You could see him getting maybe a couple of assists, especially against Sheffield United, where you'd expect him to be quite far forward. Sheffield United without John Egan as well, their best centre-half because he's suspended. So I could see a few goals going in against them.
Yeah, I'll round up the differential picks by going for a Fulham player. I'm going for Lookman, and he's a midfielder priced at 5 million, really, really cheap. Plays in a really forward attacking role for Fulham where they don't concede too many goals, but going forward, they've actually looked quite dangerous, especially against United. They should have potentially drawn against Manchester United in that fixture at Craven Cottage with the chances that they're creating. Going through Loftus-Cheek and Lookman, both look great options, but Lookman in the past few games has really started to return for Fulham. So at 1.4% owned, 5 million, you can't really go wrong with Lookman.
Yeah, good little player.
And Brighton struggle at home. Like, I think the last 15 months they've won like twice at home.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So that kind of wraps things up for this Game Week 20 preview. Game Week 26 tips and tricks with Josh. We all love it. Thank you again to Glen for coming on the channel again. How do you find it this week?
It's always an honor to be here. I did not mention Kelechi and Nacho, but if you want to take a punt on him, you can feel free. But I said it at the end so that you don't clip it. I did not say that, but he could get his first goal of the season then. So definitely happy. Make sure you guys subscribe to them and make sure you leave a like, help them get to 500 subscribers. Best FPL channel on YouTube, in my opinion.
Hey, thanks, Glen. As he said, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Go and follow Glen on his socials. We've left the link to his Twitter and his YouTube in the description. Lots of great content on there. If you follow his Twitter, you'll see all the banter he comes out with. He thinks he's really funny about the FPL Cup every 5 seconds. So make sure you go and check him out. As always, I've been Ben.
I've been Josh.
I've been Glen.
And we'll see you
later. Have a good game week.